What happens when one of the most powerful men in Hollywood, a billionaire filmmaker, studio owner, and media mogul, gets hit with a $260 million lawsuit? That's what Tyler Perry is facing right now. Actor Derek Dixon, who worked on Perry's hit shows The Oval and Ruthless, is accusing him of sexual harassment, assault, and retaliation. And the allegations? Let's just say they're so explosive, they could rewrite the public image of a man who built an empire on inspirational stories. Welcome back to A Sip of Drama, where celebrity scandals meet subpoenas and Hollywood legends suddenly find themselves in the defendant's chair. Today, we're breaking down the $260 million lawsuit filed against Tyler Perry, the empire builder behind Medea, House of Pain, and an entire Atlanta studio complex bigger than Disney's. The plaintiff, actor Derek Dixon. The claims? Unwanted sexual advances, physical assault, emotional manipulation, and retaliation when he said no. So grab your tea, hit that like button before the judge bangs the gavel, and let's unpack how this $260 million legal storm is shaking Perry's kingdom. Derek Dixon wasn't a household name, but he was on the rise. He landed roles on Perry's shows The Oval and Ruthless, both filmed at Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta, one of the most powerful production hubs in the country. According to Dixon, this is where the nightmare started. He claims Perry singled him out with special attention, offering mentorship, bigger roles, and even the promise of producing a pilot. On paper, it sounded like a dream. In reality, Dixon says it was a trap. That's the foundation of the lawsuit. The imbalance of power between a billionaire studio boss and an up-and-coming actor who couldn't afford to say no. The lawsuit doesn't hold back. Dixon describes a steady pattern that went far beyond awkward texts. According to him, Perry allegedly blurred the lines between professional mentorship and personal advances, often late at night, outside of work, when Dixon felt most vulnerable. He claims Perry used his position to create setups, inviting him to private dinners, suggesting he crash at his home, and making it seem like refusing would jeopardize his spot on the shows. One filing even describes Perry insisting Dixon was too intoxicated to drive, then allegedly pressuring him to stay in guest quarters. And once there, Dixon says the encounters turned physical, groping, unwanted touching, even moments where clothing was forcibly removed. These aren't just uncomfortable situations. If true, they fit the legal definition of sexual battery. In plain terms, unwanted physical contact of a sexual nature, which is actionable both civilly and criminally. What makes the claims even more serious is the repetition. In harassment law, one awkward moment can be dismissed as misunderstood. But repeated advances, paired with job pressure, that's a pattern, and patterns are what judges and juries look for. According to Dixon, saying no came with a price. In the lawsuit, he claims that as soon as he began resisting Perry's advances, his career on Perry's productions stalled. Storylines for his characters were abruptly cut. He was allegedly told a pilot project Perry promised him would never happen. This is textbook retaliation law. If an employee, or in Hollywood, a contracted actor, refuses unwanted conduct and then faces career sabotage, that's grounds for serious damages. Dixon's lawyers point out that this isn't just about missed opportunities, it's about losing the chance to build a career at one of the biggest studios in the country. For an actor, that can be the difference between fame and obscurity. The lawsuit doesn't stop at career retaliation. Dixon also details the toll it took on his mental and physical health. He claims the alleged abuse left him with post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and severe anxiety. He says he developed physical symptoms too. Nausea, stomach issues, and an overall breakdown of his well-being. And the financial hit? Huge. The lawsuit argues that Dixon lost years of potential income, roles that could have defined his career, and the credibility that comes from being a rising star in Perry's inner circle. That's how you get to the $260 million figure. Damages for emotional harm, lost income, and punitive damages meant to punish Perry if the allegations are proven. And hey, before we go any deeper into lawsuits and subpoenas, do me one favor. Smash that like button and subscribe. Think of it as your legal retainer fee, except it's free, no billable hours. And I promise I won't send you a surprise $260 million invoice. Tyler Perry isn't staying silent. His legal team blasted the lawsuit as a scam and baseless fabrication. They argue Dixon is trying to cash in on Perry's fame and fortune, and that none of the allegations have merit. This is the classic defense playbook. deny, discredit, and frame the accuser as opportunistic. Perry's team also pointed to his reputation, a man who's built a brand on Christian values, philanthropy, and uplifting narratives. But in court, reputation doesn't outweigh evidence. And if Dixon can produce texts, witnesses, or corroborating proof, the case becomes harder to dismiss. Here's where this case gets legally fascinating. Sexual assault and harassment lawsuits are some of the hardest to prove because so often it boils down to he said, he said. Unless Dixon has hard evidence, text messages, witnesses, recordings, it becomes a credibility contest. But here's the twist. Retaliation claims are often easier to prove than harassment itself. Why? Because retaliation leaves a paper trail. If Dixon's character was suddenly cut, or promised projects mysteriously disappeared after he pushed back, that timeline can be shown to a jury. And in harassment cases, retaliation is often where the damages balloon. Then there's the $260 million price tag. How do you even get to that number? Dixon's lawyers stacked categories: lost income from future projects, emotional distress damages, medical costs for therapy and treatment, and punitive damages, designed to punish Perry if the jury finds the conduct was intentional. Add it all up, and the number becomes shocking, but not random. On the flip side, Perry's team will argue the number is outrageous, pointing out that Dixon wasn't a household name. They'll say you can't lose $260 million worth of career if you never had it. That's going to be one of the biggest battles in court. How much is a lost career really worth? This isn't just about one actor and one mogul. It's about the bigger picture, how Hollywood still struggles with power imbalances, and how male victims of harassment often go unheard. If Dixon wins, or even forces a settlement, it could set a precedent for other actors who feel trapped by powerful bosses. And if Perry clears his name, it could reinforce the challenges of bringing these cases without ironclad evidence. Either way, this lawsuit is about more than Tyler Perry's empire. It's about whether Hollywood has really changed since the Me Too era, or whether power still buys silence. So there you have it. Tyler Perry, one of Hollywood's most powerful moguls, now fighting a $260 million lawsuit that could shake his empire. Derek Dixon says this was harassment, assault, and retaliation. Perry says it's all a scam. The truth? That's for the court to decide. What's clear is this case isn't just about money. It's about power, reputation, and whether even Hollywood giants are truly untouchable. If Dixon has evidence, Perry's carefully built image could take a serious hit. If not, this might become another headline that burns bright, then fades away. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you believe Dixon's claims hold weight, or is Perry right to call this a cash grab? Drop your verdict in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe to A Sip of Drama. Because when this case moves forward, you better believe we'll be right here sipping every drop of courtroom tea.